Welcome into MASN All Access. I'm your host, Paul Mancano, and I've got two Frederick Keys sitting right next to me, Blaine Knight and Cody Sedlock. We're going to get to them in a little bit and play a little fun spelling game with you guys in just a bit. But first, let's touch on some news from earlier today from the big league team. DJ Stewart got called up. You might remember he played with the team in September last year, got called up in the middle of the year and hit .250 in 17 games. This year so far, he's been absolutely crushing it with AAA Norfolk, hitting .316 and OPS over 1 with 8 homers in 43 games. Great to see. Former first-round pick DJ Stewart will be returning to the Orioles. Speaking of first-round picks, we currently have one first-round pick with us, Cody Sedlock and Blaine Knight. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
How's your tour going so far of Oriole Park at Camden Yards?
It's gone great so far.
Going good.
Good. Well, we'll touch on how you guys could, learn from these guys, I'm sure, as well. Have you had an opportunity to talk to the guys in the clubhouse?
Yeah. I mean, I've been around for a couple of years. I'm familiar with a lot of the younger guys in the team.
Right.
But we sat up in the bullpen and the pregame and watched one of Andrew Kashner's side bullpens.
Nice.
Sat down with him and he gave us some advice and talked to us for about 30 minutes. So that was pretty cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And Cody, you were a first-round pick, and you see DJ get called up. Is that where you could maybe see yourself in a few years getting that call in the middle of the season?
I sure hope so. That's the plan.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, and so Blaine, you coming just from college pretty much last year, how have you adjusted so far to the Orioles organization?
I think it's gone well. Just go about my business and my routine, and I think that's a big key to just adjusting to pro ball. Is just having a steady routine and just doing it every day.
Yeah, and you're used to big game situations. You pitched in the College World Series. They are starting the College World Series in just a little bit. What do you think the chances are that your alma mater, Arkansas, can get back to the championship?
I think they got a good shot.
Okay.
They got a really good team this year. They were young, so I was interested, really didn't know how they would do. But they've done really well this year, and we always play well in postseason, it seems like. So I think there's definitely a chance.
Awesome. And Cody, you're a guy who you struggled a little bit with injuries last year, but you've really started out on fire in 2019. Did you do anything in the off season or so far during the season to make sure that you were going to stay healthy for this year?
Yeah, I had a specific shoulder strengthening routine that I've been keeping up with, and as long as I do that every day, arms felt great, and just getting back to being who I am as a person and as a baseball player, and it's been working so far, and I plan on it working the rest of the year.
You talked about getting back to yourself as a person. Was there kind of a confidence boost at the beginning of this year, coming into the year, knowing that you were going to be healthy and ready to go?
Oh, absolutely. I was in a low point when I'm not feeling my best, performance-wise and health-wise. And going out to the ballpark every day, all right, let's get through this day. And
right.
Let's get my arm healthy, and to finally, be able to go out there and pitch with confidence and throw every pitch with conviction. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, and you bounced around obviously as you were kind of rehabbing last year. Does it help to be in one place and to know that you're going to stay in one place at least for the foreseeable future?
Oh, absolutely. It's Frederick. This is my third season there. With bits and pieces, being down in Florida and everything. But I love the area, and I'm comfortable there. But I'm just taking it day by day, and showing up to the park with one goal in mind.
Yeah.
And that's how it is.
And Blaine, you were new to Frederick, seeing as you started the year in Salisbury with the Delmarva Shorebirds. You got called up in mid-May. How are you adjusting so far to the higher level of play? Have you noticed a jump in the competition so far?
Yeah, there is a jump. In low A, you could expose hitters a little bit because they get themselves out a lot. But now, the mistakes you make over the middle of the plate and wrong pitch selection and stuff. You get hit for it now, and normally it gets hit pretty hard. So the adjustment's been good. I feel like I'm more back in the college area again as far as their approaches and stuff and how it was in the middle of SEC play. So it's familiar territory. Just trying to get fully back into it again. Yeah,
and you were a guy. Not only did you pitch in big game situations, but you dominated. I'm pretty sure you've lost one game so far in the past 2 years. Amazing. You were undefeated your junior year before you entered the draft, and then you lost one game last year, and you are undefeated so far this year. I know I'm jinxing you by saying that, but is obviously the win and the loss doesn't matter nearly as much now as it used to, but is that something that you keep an eye on, is how the team performs around you?
Yeah, it's always good to win games, and it's a good confidence booster to win games, but I mean, I don't look at it as much as I used to now. I mean, now it's more about, let's develop, let's get our stuff where it's at. If I'm happy with how my outing went, and regardless what the score is, I mean, I did my job that day. I got better personally that day. But majority of the time, though, when everybody does their stuff right, everybody wins, and normally it turns out pretty good for everyone.
Absolutely. Speaking of the whole collective and the group, the Orioles obviously have made some recent changes to the front office, adding Mike Elias and Sig Mejdal. We've heard from a bunch of players all across the organization that there's an increased focus on analytics, on technology. Is that something that you guys have noticed at Frederick in your time there?
Absolutely. They, especially with being with the Orioles the past couple of years, there's been a big step up on the analytical side, and them telling us what we need to do to make ourselves the most successful, and kind of takes away all the guesswork. You're not going to throw this pitch to left-handed hitters and hope it does good. You're going to know it's going to do well. So it just helps you throw every pitch with 100% confidence.
Interesting. How about you, Blaine?
Yeah, absolutely. I got in on a little bit at the end of the old regime, but it is nice to have some familiar stuff, because that's what I knew in college was that. I mean, we're a little more in depth now than what I was in college with all the analytics and stuff. But it was nice that once we got the new management stuff in, it was some kind of familiarity that I had, that I was able to look at and know what I was looking at and knowing how my stuff performs.
Right. And have you noticed a difference between Delmarva and Frederick so far in terms of technology, or does it stay consistent over the different levels of the organization?
I think it stays pretty consistent. I mean, it's still your stuff and your arsenal, and so I mean that's what we're trying to get is, I mean, big league weapons and everybody's own personal arsenal. So I mean that's what we go for, and that's what we know our stuff works to certain hitters, and each guy's different.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming up on draft day, by the way. The first round, at least, is a week from yesterday. It's next Monday. What do you guys remember about the day that you were drafted not too long ago?
It was one of the most stressful to exhilarating days ever. Because every person knows certain teams that could take them, and when you're sitting there and you're watching every pick go by, you're like, all right, well, who's going to take me? I'm waiting for a phone call.
Yeah.
And that 30 minutes feels like it takes 6 hours.
Yeah.
So, but then once it happened, it's the greatest day ever, and I wouldn't trade my experience for anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really nerve-wracking, but once it happens, it's exciting, and that's what I remember about mine. I remember waiting and just trying to figure out what was going to happen, and you never know with the draft because so many things happen once picks start going off the board. But they finally called my name. There's like a big sigh of relief. I get to go continue my career, and so I was pumped up.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are going to be some excited guys waiting to be picked with that number 1 overall pick that the Orioles hold for this year. Well, speaking of nerve-wracking, I'm going to put you guys a little bit on the spot here. I teased it earlier. But I want to know how well you guys can spell, because the Scripps National Spelling Bee is starting up soon on ESPN, and I want to tease and test you guys and see how well you guys can spell your teammates' names.
All right, let's do it.
It's really the greatest competition in all of sports, the spelling bee. And now we have 2 guys in here who are very excited young men who are ready to put their names on the trophy and spell themselves. Guys, you are going to be spelling your Frederick Keys fellow teammates' names, some first names, some last names. You may ask for their age, you may ask for their position and their hometown, but that's it. I'm not going to give you language of origin or anything, or use it in a sentence. You guys are just going to have to figure it out from there. How do you think you're going to do?
As long as you don't tell me to spell Mingo's first name, then I think I'll be all right.
We'll see about that. I can't make any promises.
Okay.
All right, so let's start with you, Blaine. If you may step up, approach the microphone, and I will give you the first name that you're going to spell. Brennan Hanafy, the last name. First name is Brennan. Last name is 7 letters, Hanafy. How do you spell that?
Jeez, I should know this because I've showed him all the time. Hanifee.
Ooh, close. The double N there, it's just the one N. You hate to see it. Tough. Brennan Hanafy, Hanifee. Close, but no cigar. Of course, you would have gotten that, Cody.
Oh,
You're up next. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Got one for you. This one was not planned, I swear. But Diogenes Almengo. The very name that you said you couldn't and wouldn't spell.
All right.
It's the first one. I'll give you Almengo, the last name. But
right.
you're all on your own for the first name.
Diogenes.
Yes, that's correct. Huge. Under the pressure.
Yep. I was just tricking you into
Yeah,
asking me that question.
You were
That's what
hustling
it
us
was.
at that point. Wow. Under the spotlight in the big game, you perform. Good to know. All right, next one. Blaine, head on up to the microphone. You're on the spot once again. 0 for 1, so let's see how you do this time. This one's a little bit easier. Stephen Klimek, 25-year-old pitcher from Rochester.
Klimek.
Yep, correct. Klimek. Stephen Klimek. Very well done. He's only your teammate, so I would hope that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you guys can answer to your teammates if you
Oh, I'm going to hear it from Hannafy later.
I'll bet. All right, here we go. Last one for all the marbles to maintain a perfect streak, Cody. Yeltsin Gudino, 22-year-old second baseman. Yeltsin. I'll give you Gudino.
Yelstin.
Ooh, Yeltsin. Oh, close.
My gosh.
Close, but no cigar. 1 for 2 for both of you guys. That was pretty impressive, honestly, though. We tried to give you the most difficult names in there. We weren't going to give you, like Michael Bauman and just ace it. But you guys are probably going to hear it from your teammates. I hate to give it to you there.
It's okay.
It's okay. Great job. We really appreciate it. Hope you guys have fun on the rest of your tour of Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Thanks for stopping up to the MASN Web Studio.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
having us.
Thanks for having us.
Blaine Knight and Cody Sedlock, 2 Frederick Keys who are absolutely crushing it right now at A-Ball.